ladies, so it's Mickey and it is, what is it? It's Thursday the 31st, I believe. I'm sorry for not vlogging yesterday. If you watch me on, or if you follow me on Facebook, you already know why. So here's the update. Yesterday, early morning, I woke up at, it's like, I want to say it was about 12:30 in the morning. I went to the restroom and AF finally showed. So it took her, what, 7 days after my last birth control pill to show. So I ended up calling my RE and asking, you know, do they want me to wait till cycle day 3 to do the scan, or do they want me to go ahead and come in? And I was really happy when they told me, you know, go ahead and come in, you know, and we'll do your baseline scan. So yay. So I went in and, you know, he was like, okay, so you started this morning? I said yes. And we started the scan. Now I've had enough of these to already pretty much know what I'm looking at and stuff. So we looked at my uterus first, and you know, my lining was thin, of course, because I had started AF and stuff. So, you know, so that was okay. And then he went to my right ovary. Now my right ovary is the one that had the 22mm cyst on it the last time, and that was the reason why I started birth control. Unfortunately, once he scanned over to that right side, I saw it right away. I already knew. So I had a 23mm cyst on that right ovary, and I was devastated. He went over to the left. My left has never been active, and I think I've always ovulated from my right as well. So that left was quiet, small. So he's like, all right, have we gone over your blood results yet? And I said, no. He's like, okay, so just get dressed and come into my office and we'll talk. I said, okay. So I already knew what he was going to say, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I was really upset. And I was also upset because I hate wearing pads, but I usually wear a menstrual cup. I use a moon cup. And unfortunately, you know, I wore a pad because I was like, well, you know, I don't want to have to worry about messing with the moon cup or whatever for the scan. So I went ahead and wore a pad. And between driving from here to my doctor's office to the time that I went in the room, my pad had moved over and I had blood all over my underwear. It sucks, you know, these are the ones with the wings on it too, so you figure it wouldn't move, but it did. And it was just really gross and I felt disgusting. I was lucky that it did not go through my my pants or anything, so, because that's always like a paranoia of mine. So yeah, anyways, I go into the office. Paper, stop. I went into the office and we, he sat down and he's like, okay, well, you know, sometimes, you know, we do grow cysts or whatever, and what we do to try to get rid of them, usually they go away on their own, but what we try to do is just wait it out with birth control pills. I said, yeah, that's what we did this past month. And he's like, okay. And I was really nervous. And when I get nervous, I tend to do this a lot. And I think he noticed that. I did see him look down at my hand at one point, and I was like, oh. You know, and it sort of stopped after that. And he's like, how are you doing? And I was like, well, you know, I was just nervous about what was going to happen, what was going to be said. I was like, but other than that, I'm okay. And he's like, well, you look really good. I was like, oh, thanks. And, you know, he was going to put me on birth control again. And then he was like, you know what? I changed my mind. This cyst thing is a new thing. I've been seeing you for over a year now, and you've never had a cyst like this before. So I really think that it will go away on its own. So let's just go ahead and try. It's like, he did go over some things that, like reasons why they usually don't try when you have a cyst, and one of them, I believe he was saying something about like your ovary can turn over or something. He said that they will watch me very careful to make sure that they are not overstimulating me and my ovary won't do that. I can't remember what the correct word for that is, the term. So yeah, we're gonna try again. We're gonna start with Follistim 125 millimeters, which is nothing for me. It's a lot for some people, but I don't really respond to that dose. I believe, what did I end up on last time? I think I was on 225 is what I ended up on, or 250. So yeah, I have to respond. I respond to a much higher dose. So them starting me on 125, yeah, that's fine. So I'll be doing that for 6 days, I think, or 7 days, and then I'll go back. Then he went over my blood work. He said everything looked fine except for one thing. I did test positive for a mutation, a genetic mutation that is blood-based called MTHFR. I don't have the really long name in front of me right now, but what it is there's 40 different variations of it from what I've seen, been able to look up. I don't know which variation I have, but I just know what he told me what I have. So what he told me is basically I don't metabolize folic acid and vitamin B. I believe it's 12 and 6, or it might be 12 and 9. So anyways, as y'all know, that's very important, those two, especially for fetal health. So, you know, you're at risk for multiple miscarriages, you're at risk for children, your risk is higher for children with like spina bifida or anything like that, yeah, so anyways, needless to say, I was really upset yesterday, and I pretty much was in my freak out mode because I was like, I have never heard of this before. I've heard of people having like blood clotting disorders and stuff like that, but I had never heard this technical term for it. One of the variations is a blood clotting factor. That could be one of the symptoms. Another one of the symptoms is anxiety, depression. There's people with a variation that causes neurological disorders. Oh gosh, what else did I see? Just a slew of things. And you can have healthy children and not even know that you have it, which is really strange, you know? So, what does that mean as far as TCCing with me? You know, I can honestly say that it scared the crap out of me yesterday. I cried for quite a while yesterday, thinking, you know, do I want to continue knowing that I have this, and knowing that even though I might have to take medication or whatever, even with that, it's not a cure-all. I can still have a child that that may have this, you know, may have the same mutation, and my I've read that, you know, you're more at risk for having a child with Down syndrome or autism, or, you know, like, do I still want to go through this and, you know, have these risks? And I don't know. I had to talk to my husband first. So, what I have to do, since my body does not metabolize Follistim, I mean not Follistim, doesn't metabolize, what's it called, folic acid and B12. I have to take this. I'll cover up my thing. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. There you go. It's Full Guard. That's the actual name for it. It looks like they gave me a generic brand. It just says FAB, F-A-B-B tablet. And what it is, it's basically an extra prenatal vitamin with a super dose of folic acid and those vitamin Bs. And it's actually not as big as I thought it was going to be. So that's good. I don't have trouble swallowing pills, but you know, cool. Then I have my progesterone. These are 40 tablets. And I have 6, yes, 6 300 IUs of Follistim. I have 1 more left from last cycle, 1.5 more left from last cycle. I have my Avadril. Of course, they send me gauze and what's it called, alcohol wipes. What I'm confused about is they sent me 15 syringes and 15, I guess these are the actual needles. No, this looks like they have needles on them too. Really long ones. I don't know what these are for. I've never gotten them with my order before. It might have been because when I told the doctor, he asked me if I had medicine left over. I told him yes. And instead of saying cartridges, I said vials. So that might be the reason why he sent me these. So yeah. Anyways, I'll be taking the Full Guard to help. Try to help me metabolize that. I did speak to him again, and he said that personally with me, my symptoms, you know, I'm at a small risk. I'm not as large as a risk as I thought yesterday for you know, for all that stuff that MTHFR might present. So that's good. I forgot to ask him if I do happen to get pregnant, if I will have to take certain medications for like blood clotting or whatever. I do have a lot of blood clots when I have AF, so I don't know if that's a factor or not. My grandmother, I've said in the past, has a blood clotting disorder. She's on blood thinners all the time. She cannot travel more than an hour at a time. So yeah. Also, it can lead to you having blood clotting disorder. It can lead for you to have heart disease, get a stroke. My mom has heart disease. She has an enlarged heart. So it could very well be that my mom and my grandmother have it, but who knows? You know, like it's not something that is found unless you specifically test for it. And since I've had multiple miscarriages, that's why he tested for it. And it could be the answer why I miscarried the first time. Because all the tissue samplings came out fine. With the second one, we do know that that the tissue came back positive for trisomy, I believe it was 16. So yeah. So we might have gotten our answer. So hopefully this means that next time I do get a BFP that I am able to go sustain the pregnancy and hopefully come home with a healthy baby. You know, I was freaking out yesterday. So I was really grateful to hear that there are women that have healthy babies even though they have this, you know, even though they may have to take extra medication and stuff. So I'm very grateful for that. If you know anybody that has it, or if you have it and have had a child, I would be more than happy to speak to you, just to, you know, get some reassurance and get some answers, you know, as to what you have experienced in your pregnancy. Because it's sort of, it sucks not to know very much about it and to be really confused about it because I don't know which variation I have or whatever. So yeah. So other than that, my husband and I spoke about it last night, and he really has a way of calming me down and helping me process things, because when I tend to freak out, I tend to just have a mental block, you know? And so he really talked me through it and was like, well, you know, he's like, I still want to try. And, you know, if it is that we cannot have children, or if it is too big of a risk, he's like, I'm not opposed to putting adoption back on the table. You know, we had talked about adoption in the past, and it is something that we want to do whether we are TTCing or not, you know, whether we have our own children or not. We do want to eventually adopt. The reason we hadn't gone through that process quite yet was because he's in the military, and I just, you know, I don't know the whole process as far as that goes. You know, I don't know. To me, it would be more difficult because you are not a stable household. You know, we do move every about 3 years or so. So that's what deterred me. And we were originally thinking of just waiting until after he retired in 7 years. So yeah, we are putting that back on the table. We are going to be doing some research, you know, on what we have to do, and we'll just go from there. So we're still gonna try. We're gonna see what happens, and we're also in the process of, you know, looking into what it will take for us to adopt or start the adoption process, which is exciting as well. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, one other thing. He is saying that there's a possibility when he leaves in March that he will not be in the barracks. He might actually be in a hotel. So that would be exciting. That would be nice. Because when a little weird, but when I, you know, am to the point where we can try again, where I'm in my fertile window, I can just drive down to South Carolina and, you know, do what we need to do. And he says if he is not in a hotel, then we, you know, like he does get, he should get night times to himself anyways, and if he needs to, you know, meet me or whatever, which sounds really dirty and really wrong, but I guess whatever we have to do, we will do. So in the meantime, we'll just see what happens. We're gonna roll with the punches. You know, it's still fresh in my mind, and the risks are still there in my head. It's just a matter of just, you know, how bad do we want this? And with technology out there and everything, and all the things that are available medically for us, you know, just have faith that we will get through this with a healthy baby. So yeah, that's it, and I will talk to y'all later. Thank you, ladies, for those of you who have responded, that know about this and everything. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate your support right now, because I really needed it yesterday. So alright, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.